it's time for the awards. The plan was for Jutta and Kai to present these, but Kai is jet lagged and Jutta is just naturally sleeping in his own time zone. So I'll be doing this for them. One thing that we really cared about was to have some kind of formalized process on how we assign awards. So I'd like to quickly introduce that. And the first thing that we should, we wanted to have best poster awards and best demo awards, and we had a whole voting system planned. But we're not giving out these awards this year simply due to the situation. Because we didn't have any physical demos or posters. So this is something for us to try next year, Jana. But we do have a best paper award. And the way we did this, and the way we'd also like to do this in the future, is Jutta Ito put together a paper, an awards committee. And he asked us, the program chairs, to select a subset of papers which are potential candidates. And we kind of looked at the scores that we received from the reviewers and checked where is a nice cutoff. And Jutta asked us to give him kind of a large amount of papers because he wanted, we all felt that the scores are not always indicative of which papers end up being the strongest. Which is also something we already worked on in the review process. Thomas, Scheuer, and I, we tried really hard to put together the strongest program rather than just selecting the strongest scores we received from our reviewers. Anyway, so this award committee, they rank the papers. And then we have 2 papers which are receiving an honorable mention award and 1 paper which receives a best paper award. How do we come up with these awards? What we did is we have rankings from the committee members. And initially, Jutta suggested that we use the mean, the average, as we're used to doing with a lot of data. But we were playing around with numbers, and we didn't want the situation where we afterwards feel like we need to tweak things. And we realized that with the mean as we usually use it, with the arithmetic mean, we might have the situation where we have a paper, like you see the paper B here. I don't know, can I highlight this? Oh, I can. Give me a moment. So over here we have paper B, which people seem to think is worthy of a best paper award. And then we have paper A above it, which got decent rankings. And if we would use the arithmetic mean, then we should award paper A the best paper. If, however, we think maybe it's important to choose a paper that has many strong endorsements rather than a paper which is just kind of average, then we found that the harmonic mean is much more intuitive of what we actually think a best paper should look like. Because we feel that a best paper shouldn't be the one that on average gets a pretty good score, but we want it to be something that is strong and brave and maybe even controversial. Anyway, so that's how we did it. We selected the harmonic mean there. And let's jump right into it. Marion prepared some beautiful award documents, which we will send out to the authors. And I wonder how many of the authors are still here. But the first honorable mention that we established based on the rankings of the committee members goes to the lateral line, Augmenting Spatiotemporal Perception with a Tactile Interface by Matti Grüner, Christiane Wiebel-Haboth, and Heiko Wersing. So congratulations to them. Yes. Then we have another honorable mention, which is Haptic Pointer, a neck-worn device that presents direction by vibrotactile feedback for remote collaboration tasks by Akira Matsuda. I'm not very experienced in pronouncing Japanese names, so apologies in advance. Katsunori Notsawa, Katsuki Takata, Atsushi Itsumihara, and Yun Rekimoto. So congratulations to them also. We thought it was really interesting because these are actually very similar papers. And this is purely based on the numbers we got. I'm not sure what this means yet, but I thought it was kind of cool that we have kind of a theme that people thought was interesting in this conference. Now, finally, we get to the actual Best Paper Award, which goes out to Living Bits, Opportunities and Challenges for Integrating Living Microorganisms in Human-Computer Interaction by Pat Pataranu-Tatuan, Angela Vucic, I'm sure I mispronounced that too, apologies, David Kong, Patty Mays, and Misha Sra. Congratulations to them. And I thought it was very nice. We were discussing our selection, and we realized that this would be based on the scores, would receive the award. So I thought I was really pleased that this paper already on the live stream managed to create this amount of discussion. And it kind of highlights that we were pretty happy with the selection because we feel like it's forward-looking work, which causes discussion and hopefully will kick off other interesting research. So congratulations. We have more awards. We have lots of, well, we have a good number of awards. We also, this year is the 11th time that there is an Augmented Human conference. And we felt that it is also, well, important to look back at where we came from, looking back at the first ever Augmented Human conference, and looking at, okay, what has this work actually done for our community? And there's a number of papers which in one way or another influenced HCI research going forward. And typically, lasting impact awards are assigned purely based on citation counts. And this is a tricky thing because on the one hand, citation counts, like they're easy to measure, so they're really nice, and we want to award that. On the other hand, sometimes papers have an impact which it's not reflected in their citation counts. So a citation count only does so much to tell us about the paper. So we chose to give 2 lasting impact awards. The first is a lasting impact award, with which we honor the paper which has received the most citations, which is an award that we hope to, going forward, give out yearly, and it goes to the top cited paper. Sometimes there's situations where papers are very close together. Maybe they have exactly the same or one or more or less citations. In this case, the steering committee will vote and can consider other forms of impact. But typically this paper is given out once a year. But we also have another award, which we're calling the Special Recognition Award. And for this award, we every year plan to invite people to nominate a paper and explain why this paper had a strong impact, and explain to the steering committee why they think a paper should receive the Special Recognition Award. It's not an award we anticipate that will necessarily be given out every year. We also assume that it's possible that one year more than one paper receives this award. And this is an award that the steering committee, they don't vote on it, but rather they decide on it anonymously. And if everyone is in agreement, then this award is given. So I think we should just go right into the awards. I'd like to start with the Lasting Impact Award. And I'd like to ask Shoya, are you here somewhere?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. How should we do that? Maybe I'll pull up the award and then you can say some words about that.
Yes, I think so. You can shortly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoya.
Okay, it's my turn.
Please.
Yeah, I think it's already displayed. Yeah, it's displayed.
Yes.
So the Lasting Impact Award for this year will be presented to the paper Edit Eyes, Eye Activity Sensing for Daily Life. It was presented by Yoshio Ishiguro, Asian Mijuba, Takashi Miyaki, and Junrei Kimoto. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm so honored to introduce this paper, AHs, because I'm also one of the researchers who are highly inspired by this topic, this research, this paper. It's about prototyping daily use eye tracker towards augmenting, enhancing our memory by integrating object recognition from a camera. And I think there are many reasons why there are many researchers cited this paper, but I think one reason is this paper highly contributed to introduce how challenging and important to measure eye movements in daily life. And I think to augment human, we should understand human. Yeah, congratulations for this award.
Thank you. For the Special Recognition Award, I'd like to maybe ask Pedro to say some words. Pedro, are you here?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
I can hear and see you. How do you want to do this? Should I pull up the award, or do you want to say something and then you cue me? Or
Exactly, let's do that.
okay.
So Paul and I are improvising this, so bear with us. I actually wanted to first just a very quick thank to Shoya, Thomas, and Paul, because I think they did a really great job at handling this edition of the conference. Very responsive to the current situation. So maybe we should also give the hands to them before this final award.
Thank you.
And Bo, please. And Bo.
And Bo. Sorry, Bo. All right, so it is my greatest pleasure to announce this special award. Paul just asked me to hand the award, did not tell me any hard limit on how much I can speak. So, let me just take a few minutes of your time, I hope you don't mind, to call your attention to why we felt that the authors of this specific paper deserved such a special recognition from the augmented human community. So Paul, go for it. All right, so the Special Recognition Award goes to Emi Tamaki, Takashi Miyaki, and Jun Rekimoto. And let me just say a few words about it, why we thought it was so important. So this paper is called The Possessed Hand, a hand gesture manipulation system using electrical stimuli. This was published at the first Augmented Human Conference 2010. That's 10 years ago. And why I think it's so important to congratulate Emi, Takashi, and Jun is that not only this was one of the first papers to use electrical muscle stimulation technique to move human muscles using electricity in HCI, but it was also resulted in a series of inspirational things, both in research, for people like me, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but for many of you too, but also even in industry. Emi actually commercialized this device under the name Unlimited Hand in her company, which is called H2L. So, I think it even loops really nicely back to our opening keynote with Stellar, who was also one of the pioneers in interactive electrical muscle stimulation. So it's a really nice tying of the loop that I haven't seen so often in research, where the artists and the research are all in the forefront of this thing and really trying to make things new and fresh. We all know that papers can be, I think, impactful in many ways, providing tools for others to build stuff, schematics, sharing things, and we saw a lot of that in this conference. Methodologies and so forth. But I think also one very special way this paper was inspirational to a lot of people is that it really make people think differently in the HCI community about gesture manipulation, not just the input side of things, but also what if we could control human muscles and what we could do with that. I was personally very inspired by this work, despite that I actually only found it 2 years later after its publication. I'm very slow in reading papers. I was already working on EMS on my first Kai paper, and then of course I had that moment of like, whoa, Jun Rekimoto, he has done it again before everyone else. But I also had a really nice moment, which I remember very clearly, that I shared with my supervisor at the time, where we kind of looked at it and said, this opens doors in many inspiring ways. So I hope a lot of you in the augmented human community are also inspired by this paper. If you're newer to this and you haven't read it, I highly recommend just to go and read the Possessed Hand paper. And if you see Jun, Takashi, or Emi the next time, please congratulate them. And let's congratulate them once more. Passing it to Paul again.
Cool. Actually, let's say this. Just one more comment. I'm not sure if you guys. I'm so lost. I should do this. I should be able to do this. Okay, I'm not sharing my screen yet. That's what's happening. Okay. Anyway, just one thing that I wanted to say. So this paper was nominated by multiple people. One of them being Pedro here. That's why he was quite involved in this. I think going forward, that is all we have on the papers. And Jonna, I would give the word to you if you want. I can pull up the slides, or you can also.
Sorry, Yun is here, and I think he may want to say.
Oh, that's beautiful. I just assumed that.
At least sort of his avatar is visible on my screen. So Yun Rikimoto, can you hear us? Are you still there?
It is interesting to note that Yun actually received both of our Lasting Impact Awards.
And I think that the second, both awards tied to the opening and ending keynote. So Yun, do you want to say a few words?
I unmuted, try to see if he can talk, but I don't know.
I think he may not be there. So
it is a rather ungodly hour of the day in Japan right now. I don't know exactly.
Okay, so probably better mute him again, and then we move on.
Okay, I'll mute him. Maybe like if anyone is in a condition of opening your webcam, you can open your webcam so we can make like a screenshot of our attendance. Maybe. Yeah, Matthias is really talking. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, maybe you can keep the webcam on.
I like where Florian is. So we have people from Saarbrücken, from Finland, from Japan, and from the ISS. I take it.
From the US. From the ISS.
Hi, Roshan.
I really have to customize the background as well.
Hi.
Okay, so Bo, can you do a screenshot or so?
Yes. And we can move on to the next part.
I also see that some people are too shy to turn on their cameras, but I get that.
Or they are away from the keyboard. So
yes.
You don't know.
No. Like a lot of thumbs up just happened. But maybe Jonna, I will hand over to you. If you want, I can show the slides, or you can show the slides, whichever is easier for you.
Maybe it's the easiest if you show the slides and I'll talk over.
Yes. So. For context, the reason why I'm inviting Jonna to speak is that she has some information of what we're doing next. Jonna.
Okay. So this is about next year. So Augmented Humans 2021 will be organized in Rovaniemi in Lapland in Finland. So I hope to see you there in large numbers, and the idea is that we will also organize remote access possibility. So we will talk about that or discuss about that with the steering committee. So Lapland and Rovaniemi is situated basically at the Arctic Circle in Finland, and to travel there, mostly you have to take a transfer flight from Helsinki. But since we are going to have the conference in February, March, the dates will be discussed with the steering committee in detail. There might be possibilities also for direct flights. For instance, there's direct flights at the moment from, or was before the direct flights from London, Milan, I think, and several places in Central Europe. So hopefully the connections will be good too. And if you take this next slide.
This one? Or should I go to the fun slide?
I say something serious first. So the serious stuff is this. So basically, the venue is the university at the Faculty of Art and Design. And over there we have facilities for the presentation sessions, but also if you are interested in organizing workshops, we have good design workshop and Fab Lab facilities over there. And one thing which I would like to include next year is a design exhibition track, and I kind of own it for the reputation of the university. And also I hope to have a doctoral consortium. And basically about the chairs and the organizing committee, we will discuss with the steering committee. So other chairs to be announced soon. Okay, and the last slide, please. And basically, welcome to Lapland. So we hope to have snow, as always in February, March. And also there's some nice activities you can engage yourself while visiting Lapland. And also I hope to have a nice social program in conjunction.
But we don't need to come by sleigh. You're saying there are airplanes.
No, the buses and taxis do run, but I recommend not to rent a car for safety, for the winter driving conditions. But really, warmly welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonna.
I can say we're all looking forward to it, and also some of us have been making a list of lessons learned, and even before things got very rough, we had lots of lessons learned, and we'll have some information to pass on.
I think we really need to thank the people who asked us about the current health situation first. So we started to think about contingency plans, and then those plans became the actual means of holding the conference. But of course, the most important for us was to have the papers presented to the audience and get the papers published in the end.
And I think something to note is also, so we've had about 30 people in the chat, and right now when we took our photograph, there was a smaller number, but the actual number of people we're presenting for right now is a lot larger, because we're uploading this, and especially the people of Japan will be viewing all of this during the day tomorrow.
Yeah, so the idea is to really take the lessons learned and also to organize this remote possibility, whatever the world in what condition the world will be next year. But
yes, I like that emphasis.
Okay, and I think with this, I'm taking over as one of the people on the steering committee. And I think the first thing I want to do is to really say thank you to all of you. And I think the chairs had quite a hard time this year. Sort of, I think there were multiple things. I think I said it in the opening. There were some tricky issues with augmented human and augmented humans. I just reiterated because there was also one question in the chat. So basically, after 10 years of augmented human, there were some disagreements about how to run the conference. And the vast majority of the steering committee felt we want to go this way, what we have done now, that we go closer to ACM, that we really push for high quality papers, that we push for international inclusion, and that we run it as a democratic process where we have program chairs, conference chairs, other chairs, and basically get also a lot of young people in order to really get the conference going, not having always the same people running it. And also with regard to venue selection, we wanted to have venues where we have active members of the community having either their lab, like next year, Jonna, who has been sort of in that community for a while, or this year, Kaiserslautern, with people who had been in there and as before. So we wanted to go for a venue that has a local community. Even so, this didn't play a big role this year with the local community. It really helped that we had people who are in the community who are organizing it. Otherwise, I think it would have not worked. There is a second Augmented Human conference, and we don't have much information how they are running this year and how they're doing. It was supposed to happen in Canada, and so we'll find out. I think it's there is, from our perspective, I think we want to go forward with this what we have here. There may be sort of for next year quite a big overlap of people on the who have been chairing in order to push this on to learn the lessons we have. But with this, I have really I really admire the work, the general chairs, the program chairs, the poster and demo chairs, the media and design chair, the awards chair, the social media chair, the video capture chair, and the web chairs put in. And I think they pulled it off within a very, very short time to have the experience we have. So let's give us a hand. And I'm doing this because that's sort of, I was told, is sort of for the deaf people. And as most of us are basically muted, we can do it like this. And I think it did work.
Thank you.
And I think the final thing to say is, if you have ideas how to move that forward, contact the steering committee, contact Jonna for next year. We will very soon have her contact details on this year's webpage that you can send something to her. Have a look at the webpage. I think the webpage is another experiment the program chairs have pulled off. The idea is to have the program online, to have it still watchable, where you can go to the papers, where you can go to the discussion. Also facilitating discussion online rather than just in spoken language, because not everybody has English as their first language. The majority of us doesn't, and so having discussions in written may be more a feature than a bug. And with this, I hope to see you next year again in whatever way, virtual, whatever. And so I really enjoyed it, despite the few stones in the way we had to get over. Thank you so much, and hopefully see you next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also thank Kirill Ragozin for the developing the web page.
Yes. And I think the other two people who we should also really mention, who have been kind of the backbone to this, have been Albrecht Schmidt and Kai Kunze, who, you know, whenever we were not sure how to go forward or whenever we needed something, like one of them would pull a rabbit out of the hat. So also thanks to you two for being around.
And special mentions for Kai Kunze for being the only paper presenter that actually made it to the physical venue. Yeah, under these special circumstances.
Yeah, thank you, Kai.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. It was
Bye.
a really nice experience.
Bye.
Bye.